We pushed. This is one way our individual learning histories influence our motives. Depending on our learning, the aroma of good food, whether freshly baked pizza or freshly toasted ants, can motivate our behavior. So can the sight of those we find attractive or threatening. When there is both a need and an incentive, we feel strongly driven. The food-deprived person who smells baking bread feels a strong hunger drive. In the presence of that drive, the baking bread becomes a compelling incentive. For each motive, we can therefore ask, how is it being pushed by our inborn physiological needs and pulled by our incentives in the environment? So incentive can be defined as positive or negative stimuli. We also now know that if there's a need, and an incentive, we will be strongly driven. All right, next section. Optimum arousal. Are we much more than homeostatic? We are much more than homeostatic systems. However, optimal arousal theory holds that some motivated behaviors actually increase arousal. Well-fed animals will leave their shelter to explore and gain information, seemingly in the absence of any need-based behavior. Curiosity drives monkeys to monkey around, trying to figure out how to unlock a latch that opens nothing or how to open a window that allows them to see outside their room. It drives the 9-month-old infant to investigate every accessible corner in the house. It drives you to read this text, and it drives the scientist whose work this text discusses. And it drives explorers and adventurers such as Aron Ralston and George Mallory. Asked why he wanted to climb Mount Everest, the New York Times reported that Mallory answered, "Because it is there." Those who, like Mallory and Ralston, enjoy high arousal are more likely to seek out intense music, novel foods, and risky behaviors. They are sensation seekers. So I'm going to highlight that last sentence in blue because I'm not sure if it's entirely important, but it will be good for me to know, kind of help it be relevant. Highlight in pink that the optimal arousal theory holds that some motivated behaviors actually increase arousal. Okay. Optimal arousal theory God, I just don't like how they're using the word arousal because it makes me think something else. Hey! is the idea hello, that I'm not from Texas, actually. It's just Texas-shaped roller coaster. Well, I'm from Oklahoma. The idea that some behaviors increase, because that's where I was born, intense want. Okay. People who enjoy I hate using this word. I am not watching the TV, actually. It's whatever my mom had on before she left for an inspection. Seek out new experiences. Hey. This is an office space. My mom works in here, and I come in here during the day so that way I don't do homework in my bed, because that's a really unhealthy habit. Anyways, back to the reading. So human motivation aims not to eliminate arousal, but to seek optimum levels of arousal. Having all our biological needs satisfied, we feel driven to experience stimulation, and we hunger for information. We are infovores, said neuroscientist Irving Beardman and Edward Vessel. After identifying brain mechanisms that reward us for acquiring information, lacking stimulation, we feel bored and look for a way to increase arousal to some optimum level. However, with too much stimulation comes stress, and then we look for a way to decrease arousal. You can make my homework, huh? Shit. Almost dropped that. Highlight. Okay. Two early 20th century psychologists studied the relationship of arousal to performance and identified what we now call the Yerkes-Dodson law, suggesting that moderate arousal would lead to optimal performance. So I need to highlight that in green because that's a vocab term. When taking an exam, for example, it pays to be moderately aroused, alert but not trembling with I can't take this seriously with the way it keeps throwing it around. For example, when taking an exam, for example, it pays to be moderately aroused, alert but not trembling with nervousness. We have since learned that optimal arousal levels depend on the task as well, with more difficult tasks requiring lower arousal for best performance. This is so weird. Looks like my mom's home. Yeah.
Can I come in?
Mhm.
How's it going?
It's going good. I have 5 assignments done today. So I believe I am owed a milkshake and $5.
Wow, is it all stats or is it different stuff? Or all psych or different stuff?
2 psych, 1 government, 2 stats.
Yay!
And I'm on number 6 right now.
How's it feel?
It feels good.
Awesome.
Didn't really want to keep working, but I decided to.
Glad you did.
Humans. Oh, you smell like fire.
Well, I'm taking off my shoes and I'm going to go put my jacket in the garage and I'm going to go get in the shower.
Was this another fire one?
The first one was, yeah. And then
That's why you smell like fire. Ugh. Usually, like, campfire smells good, but I don't like when you come home with that house fire smell.
It smells nasty, doesn't it?
Yeah. Humans hunger for
Sorry. Just as though.
information. I don't blame her. No, she... When bored, we need more stimulation. When stressed, we try to decrease stimulation.
Be back in a few minutes. You need me to close the door back or?
I don't care.
Okay.
I'm probably gonna get off in a few minutes because it's awkward streaming with my mom in here because I just don't like talk with y'all. And I'm confused. What were you talking about, boyfriend? Yerks. Dodson. Huh? I'm so confused. She has a son that she loves very much. No, my mom has a son, my brother. Moderate. Arousal. Optimizes performance. I'm so confused. I have no clue what you're talking about. No? I'm not. As difficulty of a task increases, arousal should... I'm 18. I don't make homework. I just have to. What? I just have to get it completed. Whatever. Hierarchy of motives. Some needs take priority over others. At this moment, your needs for air and water are hopefully satisfied. Other motives, such as your desire to achieve, discussed in Module 82, we're not even there, are energizing and directing your behavior. Let your need for water go unsatisfied and your thirst will preoccupy you. Just ask Aaron Ralston. Deprived of air, your thirst would disappear. Good for y'all. Abraham Maslow described these priorities as the hierarchy of need. At the base of this pyramid are our physiological needs, such as those for food and water. Only if these needs are met are we prompted to meet our need for safety, and then to satisfy our needs to give and receive love and enjoy self-esteem. Beyond this, said Maslow, lies the need to actualize one's full potential. Near the end of his life, Maslow proposed that some people also reach a level of self-transcendence. At the self-actualization level, people seek to realize their own potential. I have to do homework. Whatever. I'm almost done with this chapter, which is nice. At the self-transcendence level, people strive for meaning, purpose, and communion that is beyond the self, that is transpersonal. Maslow's hierarchy is somewhat arbitrary. The order of such needs is not universally fixed. People have starved themselves to make a political statement. Today's evolutionary psychologists concur with the first four levels of Maslow's needs pyramid. But they note that gaining and retaining mates and parenting offspring are also universal human motives. Nevertheless, the simple idea is that some motives are more compelling than others. Some motives are more compelling than others provides a framework for thinking about motivation. Worldwide life satisfaction surveys support this basic idea. In poorer nations that lack easy access to money and the food and shelter it buys, financial satisfaction is more strongly predicts feelings of well-being. In wealthy nations where most are able to meet basic needs, home satisfaction is a better predictor. Self-esteem matters most in individualist nations whose citizens tend to focus more on personal achievements than on family and community identity. In ensuing modules, we will consider four representative motives, beginning at the physiological level with hunger and working up through sexual motivation and the need to belong. At each level, we will see how each experience interacts with biology. That was some pretty short notes. Alright, I'm gonna get off here. Thank you for everyone who dropped by.